Okay, so where we left off was talking about color harmonies, and color harmonies are just groups of colors that are visually pleasing. So colors that look good together, basically. So first, let's talk about analogous colors. If you look at the color wheel, which you guys also have right in front of you in your notes, analogous colors are going to be colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Okay, so for example, you could have red, red-orange, orange, yellow-orange. All of those colors are next to each other on the color wheel, so they are analogous. Another analogous color harmony or color scheme could be yellow, yellow-green, green, blue-green, and blue. We usually say around 3 to 5 colors, okay? So let's write that in our notes. Hopefully you guys have some room. I'm just going to write 3 to 5 colors next to each other on the color wheel. So I could write that on the board so you guys can see it a little bit better. Three to 5 colors on the color wheel. Okay, so you guys can choose any 3 colors or any 4 colors or any 5 colors that are next to each other. I want somebody to give me an example. What would you choose if I said you had to use an analogous color scheme to create your next project? What colors would you choose? Yaritza, what colors would you choose? What's your favorite color? Red? Okay, so what colors are next to red that you also like? Red, violet, okay. So you could do red, red, violet, violet, and you could do blue, violet. That would be up to 4 colors. Okay, so that's one example. Ryan, what colors would you choose for an analogous color scheme? Green. So green all the way up to violet or blue violet? All right, so these are the colors Ryan would choose. Green, blue, and blue violet. Okay, so you guys can choose any 4 colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Okay, so you're gonna color those examples here. And we're gonna use some of the techniques that we did yesterday. So I'm gonna also choose those same colors because blue-green is my favorite color. You guys can do a different example if you want to. But I'm just gonna I'm gonna color green first. Okay, then I'm going to skip a spot because I'm going to actually do blue-green here. Actually, let's color that in that same color. We're gonna add blue to that using one of the techniques we learned about yesterday. And then blue. And this next one is going to be blue-violet, so I'm going to add my blue now, and then I'm going to add some more violet afterwards. And then let's label these because it makes it easier for us to look at our notes when we have some labels. So this would be green, blue-green, blue, and blue-violet. Yesterday, when we practiced some marker techniques, one of the techniques that we did was the second one right here, color from marker. Remember, this is where we used our wet paintbrush. We put water on our paintbrush, and then we used the marker to get our pigment. So we're taking some of that color off of the marker, and you're painting it on the paper. Since I already put my green down, I don't have as much control over the color. The other way we did it yesterday was you guys colored your marker onto your paper plate, and you mixed your colors on there. So we colored the two colors, and then with your paintbrush, mix them on your palette first. This way you have a little bit more control of the color that you're gonna get and how much color you want to add to your paper. Bless you. Okay, so now I just need to make my blue violet. So I'm going to add some violet to my paper plate, or you can try taking some off of the marker and applying it that way. Hello? Hugo, are you here? No, Hugo is not here. Yep. Alright, so I'm just adding some violet. And I'm realizing that I'm not picking up a lot of pigment from the marker. I think it's easier to color the marker onto the palette and then pick off the color from the palette. And you can see that in our notes from yesterday. When we try to take the color off of the marker like this, you can see it doesn't pull off a lot of pigment. But when we put color on the palette and take it from here, we get more color. So you guys can use whatever techniques you want. We practiced them all yesterday, so maybe you prefer a certain way over the other. And then remember, you can always add marker on top of your wet pigment too. And then my blue marker was kind of drying out, so instead of coloring another layer with my blue marker, I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that blue marker and make it look a little bit more even and not so speckly because my marker was drying out. And since we're using markers like a watercolor, you may notice, I'm going to get a little closer here so you can see and turn up the brightness a little bit. When you lift up your paintbrush, it kind of leaves a little puddle wherever you lift it up. So if you dry off your brush onto a paper towel, your dry brush will soak up any puddles of water or paint that are just sitting on your paper. You can use your paper towel too, but if you just dry your brush off, you can soak up puddles with your paintbrush and you have more control of it then. Okay, so analogous colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Next, we're going to talk about monochromatic. Does anybody know what mono means?
One.
Yes, one. Monochromatic. Mono, M-O-N-O, mono means one, uno. So monochromatic is a color scheme that only uses one color. So let's write only uses one color with different values. And what are values? What does value mean in art? When we talk about the value of a color. So what does value mean? One color with its different values. Not mixed color. Remember you guys just took notes on the element of art value when we were drawing? Yes, value means how light or dark a color is. So when I say you're only using one color with different values, that means you're using that one color with its lights and darks of that color basically with black and white. So let's say lights and darks. So in my notes, I'm going to write one color with different values. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit harder because we're using markers and we can't just blend it with black and white to make lights and darks. So we're going to be using water to make our light. So I think I'm going to do, I'll just do purple. So I'm going to do my purple here. And I'm going to apply some purple here. And I'm going to try to color different values of this purple. So first, I'm just going to add a little bit of just clean water. And I'm going to blend this purple together, but really what I'm doing is I'm picking up some of that color on my brush. And I'm going to paint a different value of purple here. They don't have to blend together if you don't want them to, because monochromatic doesn't necessarily mean that they're blending from light to dark. It's just you're creating an artwork only using that one color. You might be painting a scenery of mountains and trees with water and animals, but maybe your whole picture is different shades of purple. So you're going to have different values of purple mountains. Maybe your animals in your painting are just like silhouettes of animals, so they're just black figures. So the only colors that you would see in that artwork are purple, black, and white, and then different purples. Okay, so it does not have to be in order. So I'm doing another value. This one has a little bit less water. I'm just trying to create different values of that one color. Now I want to try to make a really dark purple since I don't have a dark purple yet. So I'm going to add a little bit of black to my paint palette. And I'm going to mix some black in with my purple. Kind of just looks like black, so I'm going to grab a little bit more purple for my next value. Or maybe I'm going to try coloring some purple on my paper and then adding some more black to that and see what that looks like. All you're doing is experimenting and figuring out how you can make different values using your marker and some water. I'm going to try to take some pigment off of my marker. This black marker is like kind of greenish. There we go, this is better. I'm going to go ahead and just bring this color over to here. And that's perfect because this is actually a different value. All right, I have a little puddle right here in the corner, so I just dried my paintbrush off, and I'm going to soak up that little puddle. There. Alrighty. I'm going to walk around and see how you guys are doing and see if anybody needs help. Give you some time to catch up. I'm also going to grab some Kleenexes and put Kleenexes out here for you guys. Hear a lot of sniffling.